Hello everyone, welcome back to the Grassroots Football Project. Today I'm joined by Mr. Stuart Webb. Webby, how you doing, mate?
I'm good, mate. Yeah, yourself?
Yeah, not too bad. Bored, obviously, but there's people in worse positions.
That's it, mate. That's it.
How have you been coping? What have you been getting up to?
It's been hard, mate. I mean, I try to go for walks. Obviously, helping with the schoolwork,
Yeah.
and just watching videos of films on YouTube, and
Yeah.
it's trying to keep up with work, see if anything's changed on that front. But yeah, like everyone else, nothing has changed, so it's hard.
Yeah, just got to keep struggling through.
That's it.
Right, let's get straight into it then. So, I ask all my guests this. We like to talk about their first ever sort of football memory. When did football first enter your life?
Ooh. Probably the year 1988.
Oh wow, so precise.
No, it was because we won the league. Being an Arsenal fan, we won the league at Liverpool in that season.
Yeah.
So it sort of sticks in the mind. My dad and my uncle took me to Selhurst Park to watch. And then days, Charlton were playing there.
Oh wow.
Because they were kicked out of the Valley.
There's Brown Chair.
Yeah.
Palace, yeah.
That's it. So went there to watch. Obviously Charlton Arsenal. I think Arsenal won 4-2 or something stupid like that. And then from then on, been a diehard Gooner. So,
yeah. Oh, well, you know, we can't all be as lucky as you.
No, that's it. That's it.
So 1988, winning the league at Liverpool, that's got you infatuated with football. When did you actually start playing football?
I started playing for a team called Vista. They were a local team based in sort of like the Downham area. Done one season with them. I think that was like under nines. I think I was 8 years old. I was a left back. I remember it vividly as well, just like it was like last year, mate, honestly.
Yeah.
I remember being on the field and the ball was up the other end plenty of times and I was just playing the grass. So I didn't I thought like the football wasn't really for me at that point. And then, I stopped playing until I was about 16, then joined a local five-a-side league. Played there for 2 years, then saw like 11-a-side like trial date on some wall, like a billboard sort of thing. Followed it up and then started my 11-a-side career. So, yeah.
So what age was you when you started at 11-a-side then?
Oh God, it was about 2002. So I was about 16, 17, 18, something like that.
So and this was men's football, or
yeah, it was. Yeah, men's football.
That's quite a young age to get straight into men's football. You know, collecting your minutes on the pitch and stuff like that.
Yeah.
How much did that experience teach you in terms of your footballing knowledge and all stuff like that?
To be fair, it was one of them like, pub teams that I played for, so the football knowledge didn't really come at that point. Yeah. That football knowledge was a few years later when I joined more serious teams, and I mean, even now I wouldn't even say that I've got a lot of football knowledge. I just try and replicate what I see. So.
Good stuff. We like to talk about coaching a lot. It's a big part of grassroots football. Can you remember the first sort of leader or coach that you had that sort of helped you as a young footballer, a young person?
Yeah, it was a guy called Don Leach at Bromley Spartans. He's passed away now. He was like eccentric. Have you ever seen the films Back to the Future?
Yeah.
Reminded me of the Doctor.
Yeah.
It was like eccentric. It was just mad.
Yeah.
But he'd always be there for like someone to talk to if you needed anything. I get the feeling sometimes that he didn't really have a clue about football. He just said the right things at the time.
Yeah.
After him was a bloke called Paul Vickery, Junior Reds, that I played under for a few years. Like he had knowledge of anyone that you'll see. He's like good, proper good.
Oh no, that's good to hear, because a few of our guests that I've had already, some of them don't even know who their first coach was and stuff like that. Good to hear. So, speaking of coaching, you're a coach yourself. What made you get into it?
It was a case of like I was sort of well beyond my years. It was about 25. I was about 25, and I thought like after I've finished, I'm going to start managing like straight away. I'm not going to have that break because just in case I sort of lose the love of the game. And then I can't remember what age group it was, but I was playing for Junior Reds at the time, and one of the chairmen said, "Do you want to come and like, help coach this team?" I think it was like one of the under 7s or 8s or something like that. So I give it a go. Didn't like it at first. Then the new season started, and he was like, "Actually, this team need a manager," and that was the under 12s. So I jumped straight into management. I was still playing. I was doing the football Saturday, playing Saturdays and coaching Sundays. It was just weekends have been from then on just football.
Yeah. And sort of another big topic always in grassroots football is the amount of time and the amount of dedication you have to put into being a football coach. Did that take over your life much, or change your life?
It's taken over.
Taken over.
Taken over. Yeah, because I don't like losing. So when I lose, I'm a bit of a I can't say it. But you know what I mean, though. Don't
Yeah,
you?
yeah. Not very happy with it.
Just don't talk to me for the rest of the day.
Yeah. So you say you didn't like it. What was your first sort of experience with coaching? Like the first ever time you stepped out on the grass and had to talk in front of all these people that trusted in you to try and develop them in some way.
Yeah, I don't really like talking in front of big people. Like, I'm not a really confident speaker.
Yeah.
So that was like really hard for me. Even now, I mean, you've been in the changing room with me. I stutter my words, and it's like I don't know what he's saying, sort of thing. Sometimes I even hear myself saying it. It's like even now, it's really hard to stop. So it sort of gets to me sometimes.
Yeah, no, we all have them little things and issues that we sort of need to overcome and stuff like that. But how were you feeling when you first sort of got into it? Obviously quite nervous from the way you're speaking, but was you all sort of overwhelmed with the task of being the representation and the safety for the kids, or did you?
Yeah, I mean, when I first got into it, I thought it was just a case of training games on a Sunday, then go home, forget about it until next training session. It is so much more than that.
Yeah, yeah.
You've got to be like a brother, a dad, a confidant, someone to come to. Do you know what I mean? You've got to be coach, manager, everything. You've got to chase up the money, which is probably the worst job in it, because no one wants to pay.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, that's really hard.
That's a good insight. That's a good insight. So yeah, you spoke about it a little bit. Under 12s, talk to me about them. What were they like?
What do you think they're like?
Bunch, little monsters. How was they?
Yeah, I'd go more little monsters. It was hard because like they've all got their own egos and they're sort of building up their own sort of reputation in the game, but in quotes. And they see something on telly. I think, for instance, when I done that, it was like the time when I think Wayne Rooney was in the headlines for swearing. It got caught on TV against West Ham, I think it was.
Right, yeah.
So that sort of hit the bullet at training, and you had like 12-year-olds swearing. And it was a case of like he's swearing over there, he's swearing over there. Like you've got to sort of try and stop fights.
Silent down, yeah.
And then you've got to deal with the parents as well. Like the parents think their little kids are the next Ronaldo, and you've sort of dropped them for a game or put them on the bench or something. And it's hard.
And so that's a good point you bring up, actually. Like, how much do you think that professional footballers and the big names, how much do you think they influence the kids down at grassroots level?
I think it's a lot. I mean, I don't think they realise how much it is. Obviously, they realise, oh yeah, we influence them on the pitch, blah blah blah. But they also influence off the pitch. I mean, if they see like a footballer going to like a certain bar or drinking a certain drink, then they've got to go and drink that drink as well. My son's even like it now.
Hopefully not.
No, not yet.
Not yet. But yeah, I mean, it does come up a lot, and you do see these essentially role models that are just they're not realising the weight of their responsibility.
Yeah.
So it's certainly important to think about.
Yeah,
when
definitely.
it does happen. Okay, so we've gone down a bit of a different avenue for this podcast in terms of it's usually about the grassroots level, but one of the aims that I started it is to show sort of young footballers and people that are falling out of love with the game sort of what avenues and pathways they can go down if playing doesn't work out for them. And you certainly had a pretty good avenue to go down. Erith Belvedere, let's have a chat about them because it's a big club close to both of our hearts. How did you get started there?
Started off, I think it was like towards the end of the 2018 season. I answered a message on Twitter saying like, we're starting up a reserve team next season. Anybody want to join in as a coach, assistant manager, blah, blah, blah. I went down, obviously interviewed for it, got the job as a reserve assistant manager. Went through pre-season, done all the friendlies, and I think 2 or 3 days before the first game of the season, manager left. So I was lumbered with the whole team, the payments, everything. Just like we were speaking about the youth football. Yeah. I was lumbered with all that. So I was like, wow. I was like, this is like a different level of football. This is adults. So I've never dealt with coaching adults before. It was like, it was like being in a foreign country. Done that, brought in some people to help me out. In the end, one thing led to another. I sort of left the reserve setup and went up to the first team. After speaking to the manager, Owen Jones, as just not, it wasn't even as a coach. It was more towards like sort of sit back, look at what we do, and sort of learn. Obviously, you're starting your management career, so watch us. We've been here like 20 odd years. Learn from you lot. So yeah, won 2 cups last season. Come second in the league by 1 point. This season starts. Still obviously involved with the first team. I think towards Christmas, might have been a bit earlier than that, I can't remember. But our goalkeeper coach leaves. I think it was a comment made towards one of our players, he didn't like it, so he packed it in. Had no one to do the goalkeeper coaching. In the end, I got asked, do I want to do that? So I thought, yes, that's like promoted me up the ladder. So took that on, learned a little bit about it. I won't say I'm like, you know.
An expert.
Yeah, far from it. Learned a little bit about it, done it. And then the manager left after whatever happened in the boardroom. Manager left. It was a case of like, do I go with the manager? Do I sort of stick it out and see if I can jump on board with a new manager? Spoke to whoever was left on the board, and they told me that they weren't appointing anyone just yet. So they asked me to take over for the foreseeable future. I brought yourself in, brought Mark Cook in.
Yeah.
And then, we lost player after player after player, didn't we? So,
it was a horrible experience.
It was a horrible experience.
We'll come back to that experience in a bit. I've just got a few sort of...
Yeah, sure.
So, you've seen the advert on Twitter. Thought it's something interesting. I want to see what I can do with this reserves team and help them out. What was, you touched on it briefly, but what was that sort of transition like from young kids that with football that didn't really matter that much to, you know, Saturday afternoon football, grown men, you know, and big egos wanting to challenge? How was that contrast for you?
Age-wise, it was sort of similar to what I was doing at Sunday League, because I think I finished Sunday football management at under 21 level. So I was already dealing with 18, 19, 20-year-olds. So the age thing of it was like similar to what I'd experienced. The standard and the egos was so far above. It's unreal. And I was like, sometimes I would come back from training and I'd be like, what was all that about?
Yeah.
Because they'd do a trick or two and you'd say that he didn't want him to do a trick at a certain time and they'd go and have a hissy fit. And then, I mean, it was different, put it that way.
No, certainly. I mean, for me personally, them experiences were totally different as well. And I'm sure, hopefully, I've got more of that to come. But and you certainly have as well, which we'll get on to. But like you said, they needed someone in the first team. You started helping out there just to learn and watch and be like a bit of a sponge, really, just soak up all the information. Learning under Owen Jones, who I thought was a magnificent.
He's a lovely bloke.
Player manager, great bloke. What was it like? Did you learn much under him and Mickey Cooper?
Yeah, I mean, I learned how to be a bit more brutal with my team selection
Yeah.
because he wouldn't take no messing about of people.
Yeah.
It was kind of old school. Like, if you didn't turn up to training for a certain reason, that was it. Like, you had your one chance.
Right. Yeah.
Especially during pre-season, I worked that one out quite quickly. Like, the boy's a good player, but if he comes in with the wrong T-shirt or something, it's a case of Owen assumes he's not follow directions. So it's like, is he worth the gamble, sort of thing? But yeah, I mean, I've learned a lot of Owen, definitely.
Oh, that's good to hear. And you talked about the brutality side of it, and a lot more different to the kids' game and the grassroots game. Was that hard to get your head around, the sort of fact that at grassroots level, everyone deserves a chance to play and everyone deserves equal minutes, and then come into an environment where you've got to fight for your place, otherwise the manager don't like you. Then that's it. How was it hard to get your head around that, or did you adapt quite quickly?
I mean, it was something that I always wanted to do myself at grassroots, at youth football, was sort of be that kind of way. But I was quickly told by the powers that be that you couldn't be like that. You've got to be a certain way with them, rightly so. So that when I sort of saw all that, it was a case of like, oh, like finally I can sort of put my point across. Like, but so like, with youth football, as you know, you could lose every game of the season, but as long as you're managing the team, the club sort of leave you alone.
Yeah.
At that level, like we had 4 games, we got hammered every game. So sort of,
exactly.
Yeah, and we got booted out straight away. So.
Okay, so moving on to what was the only way I can describe it was a horrific situation. The situation in the dressing room with the manager and the board and the players wasn't pretty, but I'm saying it probably needed to happen. The chats that sort of happened, but so Owen resigns, which we were gutted about, and then you stepped up to the plate. What was the feeling like of knowing that you've come from playing, enjoying your football, always wanted to manage, building yourself up, and now finally you've got the Erith Belvedere job? What was that like?
It was a bit weird. I mean, it was a case of like I wanted to get to that standard, but not yet.
Yeah.
I mean, I've still got a hell of a lot of learning to do. Even now, I've said to people like I'm not ready for that standard yet. I've had 4 games, and there's a case of like I don't know what the hell I'm doing.
Right. Yeah.
With certain things. So like, yeah, I mean, it was hard. I mean, I was happy to obviously have that opportunity, but sort of knowing you wasn't actually going to be in the hot seat for like permanently, it was kind of like, well, I don't know what I can do with the team, what we can't. I mean, how many conversations did we have about signing players?
Yeah, I know.
Can we sign these players? What if we sign these players and another manager comes in, doesn't want them players?
The list was endless.
It was a mess.
It was a mess, and because it was such a mess, sprang enormous pressure. Everyone had eyes on the Erith Belvedere at that time in the league.
Yeah.
There was a huge title race, yet no one was really focused on that. It was the downfall of Erith Belvedere. Yeah. So having me, you, and Mark there, what was the pressure like in them few weeks of being the manager after the whole?
Again, that was a weird situation because I was constantly told you're not under any pressure, blah blah blah. We just want you to come in and hold the fort. Yeah. But you can't hold the fort and sort of not care about it. Exactly. I mean, you've got to still try and prepare to at least win or try and get something out of the game.
Yeah.
Especially the Chatham game. We knew we weren't going to win that, but you've sort of got to do like I can't remember what the term is. Like you've got to just try and keep it down a little bit.
Yeah, well, you can't go into the game with a poor mentality, especially for the players.
Yeah.
Obviously, we knew we were out of our depth for that game, but in terms of players, you've got to give some sort of belief in them. Otherwise, they're just going to get battered anyway.
Exactly.
So we tried to not get rolled over, but it wasn't to be.
It wasn't working, was it?
No. So we were told, new investors, new people coming in to rejuvenate the club. did that give you a bit of glimmer of hope that maybe the times were changing?
In what way?
That you know, we as a management could have got a bit more support, or we would have started to get more players and build a more regulated side than the fallouts and the amount of people that kept dropping out. Did you see, in a sense, more light at the end of the tunnel?
Again, it's a weird one. Like we was told this would be happening, that would be happening. Like players that are going to come in, I didn't see any of them until we sort of left.
Yeah.
So I mean, again, it's hard to sort of prepare for the next game when you don't know what team you've got. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, definitely, yeah.
We had that situation where we played Lordswood, didn't we? With pretty much the whole squad that Owen had, and then we had 10 days to find a brand new squad because everyone else left.
Everyone left, yeah. And then same happened again and again and again.
After the K Sports game, yeah.
But if you even ask Brian Spurrell there, the club historian, the amount of stats on debuts and new players was crazy. But
I think there were 9 at one point.
Yeah. But like moving the negatives to one side, what would you say? How would you describe your time at Erith Belvedere? The whole thing.
The whole thing.
Yeah, the whole thing.
I loved it.
Yeah.
Completely loved it. I was like gutted. The day that I was told that I wasn't wanted, I was gutted. Absolutely gutted. I mean, I love that club. I mean, it's got history for me personally. I mean, not because anyone's ever been like involved with it, but their old ground. My dad himself used to play cup finals at their old ground, so I've always known Erith from Belvedere since like the early 90s.
Yeah.
So yeah, completely gutted.
It was just similar for me, really. But you'd been there a lot longer than me. You'd been through the silverware. What talk us through sort of them nights where you won the? I think did we win the league or?
Nah, we missed out on the by a point to Wellington. Yeah. We got promoted.
Yeah. Okay, so the night you got promoted? What was the feeling then?
We had to wait because I think the league were doing like a points per game sort of system,
right?
With like other leagues and things like that. But we'd already won one cup by that point, which was good. I think we had to win at Snodland, and I think Wellington had to get beaten by I think Lyd. Right. We'd done our job at Snodland, but we were told straight after that Welling also won. So that was a bit of a downer. To finish our season, and then I think we had to wait like 3 weeks for the next cup final. Right. So it was a bit of like, what do we do in these 3 weeks? All we can do is train once a week.
Yeah.
But yeah, we come through that, and we beat Sutton, I think it was in the cup final. So yeah, I mean, to come out of that with like a league sort of a promotion and 2 cup wins, I think was a good season.
Yeah, definitely. So we sort of reviewed your whole sort of time at Erith and Belvedere. If for the people that are watching at home, the sort of young players we spoke about earlier that are trying to mould a career or a pathway out of football, what advice would you give to them to sort of manoeuvre themselves in great positions such as how you're in right now and how you was in?
Just don't give up, really. I mean, I didn't give up. I mean, I've always wanted a career in football.
Yeah.
And I would literally do anything to get. Obviously, apply for as many footballing jobs as you can. You know, look on Twitter because there's teams in the Skeppel and Kent League, decent teams that are wanting coaches. Even now, I'm reading that there's like positions available for certain teams, whether that's like first team coach, first team physio, goalkeeper coach, anything. Just get your foot on that ladder.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's a good bit of advice there, and I think definitely I can take a lot from that because I do follow that, and I do try my best to get out there and get my name out there. So I think if anyone at home's watching and wants to do the same, definitely a great bit of advice there from you, Webby. Right, the whole coronavirus situation. I mean, it's boring us to death, but we've got to talk about it. How much do you think it's affecting the lower league teams that are struggling financially? How much is it having an effect on them?
I think you're going to see a lot of teams folding, to be honest. A lot of teams, especially Scaffold, and I don't know whether they charge in Kent League, but they only get money through gate receipts and like food purchased at the ground and things. And if the grounds are shut, you're not going to get any money in.
Yeah.
You've got to find like investors or a sponsorship that's willing to hand over money. It's hard, right?
So you think they'll go on? How do you think the FA or the big clubs could be doing sort of anything else that can support these lower league teams?
I thought they could when this first started happening. I thought like maybe it could sort of be broken down into like local areas, like Millwall could help, like Fisher, because they're local. Charlton could help teams like Erith Belvedere, Welling sort of thing. But I don't know. Like, how do you choose who helps who? Because like just say Millwall put 10 grand into Fisher and Charlton put only £1,000 into Welling or Erith Belvedere. It's not really gonna help much, is it?
Hard to regulate as well. You know, I know what you mean. Okay, moving on from coronavirus, but obviously it's going to affect massively what we're about to talk about. Waterbury Wanderers, am I right? Yeah.
I'm glad you said it better than I ever do.
Yeah, it's a bit of a tongue twister, but Waterbury Wanderers, brand new team, looks so fresh and rejuvenated and ready to go and attack anything coming in its path. How did you sort of come about Waterbury Wanderers?
Right, the chairman, a bloke called Dennis Hughes, he's got like 20 odd years experience playing, managing at professional levels, non-league. He actually went in for the first team job at Erith Belvedere, and he kept talking to me, saying, "Have they read my CV yet?" I think I might have emailed you a couple of times about him. I was like, "No, I'll have a look. Obviously, after the manager got it, Dell got announced at Erith Belvedere. I think a day or two after, he messaged me on Twitter saying, "Look, I'm restarting one of my old teams for a manager. Do you want to come on board?" And I'm like, "Oh, I'd love to." Like, and then it just sort of steamrolled from there, really. I mean, he said that the club is not a brand new club; it's a brand new team. I mean, he had the club about 5 years ago, and then one reason or another, it folded like two seasons ago, for one reason or another. And then, yeah, like I said, he's just sort of brought it back out of the ashes and sort of rejuvenating. And I mean, I've got 20 players on board at the minute, but whether they're any good or not, we're not going to know until trial day, I suppose.
We're out of this. And is it local to you, Waterbury?
It's sort of around Kings Hill, Snodland, sort of Maidstone area. So it's about a 40-minute drive by car. Probably not even that, really.
Yeah. So, sort of, you get the job. All these things are coming into place. You know, they're getting sponsorships, getting a new kit, they're getting these players on board. How exciting is the prospect of your own team starting up right fresh from scratch, new season? How exciting is that prospect?
Really, at the minute, it was even more exciting before this coronavirus thing started. Yeah. But since that's all started, it's sort of petered out a little bit. Like, we're just all bored now. But like, you've got to message the boys every morning, and sort of like with little quizzes or little things to do just to keep their mind on it. But yeah, I mean, I just can't wait to get going again. Yeah, I think the boys can't either.
I think most of the football world is definitely the same agreement as us. One final question, I ask this to all my guests. What is the proudest moments, sort of proudest, fondest memories, proudest achievements that you have throughout your coaching, managing football career?
Playing wise, I won one league title and runners up in the cup, so none of that. Coaching wise, management wise, I had one season where I finished third, but that was ages ago. I think my biggest, proudest moment was seeing my son score for his very first goal, which was, I think, two years ago. I think it was.
That's brilliant. How old was he then? How old were the
He
team?
was, I think they were under sevens, under six, under sevens.
Nice. So what is
Yeah.
that, 5-a-side football or seven aside?
Yeah, it's 5-a-side. No, it's 5-a-side.
So yeah, I mean, stories like that is just, I think that's what the whole meaning of grassroots football is really. When you
Yeah.
hear brilliant stories like that. Was it a decent goal, a little tap in, or an absolute banger? What was it like? Can you remember, or can you not remember?
I can actually. I can. It was like one of my goals. What it was, I think it was like teaming down with snow that day, so we thought again that he even got ahead.
Yeah.
But I think he's got the ball on the left. I think he's run past someone, and to my vision, it could be completely wrong.
Yeah.
But my vision is he don't read it right into sort of pass. You know, he sort of finesse it.
Oh no way.
I think so. That's what I'm
Class.
going with.
Well,
That's what I'm going with.
Luckily, there's no TV in grassroots football.
Exactly.
So we'll take your word for it. Stuart, you've been an absolute amazing guest. I've loved reminiscing about Erith Belvedere and all that stuff. Just obviously we asked for a bit of advice before, but just advice to any coaches out there, any young coaches, again, looking for opportunities or that want the success that sort of you've had in your career. How do they go about it?
Like I said before, just keep trying different avenues. Look on Twitter, look on Instagram. There's always clubs asking for coaches, whether it's with the under sevens like youth teams and that. Just get your foot in the door. Try not to be like me and be nervous about it. Like try and get your words across properly and everything. So it always helps.
Don't be like Stuart.
Yeah.
No, honestly, it's wonderful working with you. It's wonderful that I've made a good friend, and it's great to have you on the podcast today. I'm sure we'll definitely get you back on for more stories and more things to talk about. But yeah, guys, if you're still watching at the end of this video, thank you so much. Please like, comment and subscribe to this channel if you want more interviews like this, and if you want to see Stuart's lovely face back in the podcast. And we'll see you later. Stay safe, everyone.